Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, Thursday night here at Laconie's. We're getting ready to have another Thursday night of football. We got the Browns coming up against the Raiders on Sunday.
Yep.
Guys, how's your week going? Dave, how you been, buddy?
It was an interesting week. Certainly an interesting Browns game this past Sunday. Didn't end up like we wanted it to, Steve, but maybe the Browns have discovered a different guy under center going forward.
Did number 12 get in the game?
I heard.
And somebody's told me that he raised his hand up and got the crowd to get crazy. And didn't he do that, Steve?
And word on the street, all the players want to start playing again. They're not giving up on the year. And we have a coordinator too that could do a better job.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to get right into it. We have the recap here. We'll to start things out, and that is the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
And we will start with Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, you've been waiting for this show for a while. You've been waiting for the day Shedeur Sanders gets his play, but you didn't see it like this. He comes in a backup role.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I told you guys, I did not want to see him play in the Ravens game.
Right.
I was hoping to see him more Raiders or on.
Right.
But hey, you got to be ready when you're called up.
It's the NFL, Steve. I mean, you don't get these practice games. This is what I tell people. It's not like you get Bowling Green or something. You know what I mean? It's not like in college where you get these warm-up games against these lower-tier colleges where you can test your skills before you step up to the big boys.
Yep.
Everybody's a big boy in the NFL. I know some teams are worse than others, but still.
And if you're a backup, you got to be ready to play when your name's called,
exactly.
or your number's called. Well, the Ravens won 23-16. Guys, this game shocked me. I thought it was going to be a blowout. I'm not kidding you. I know we were at home and everything, but yeah, I just, not a bad game by the Browns, actually, you know, and a worse game for the Ravens, by the way. We were actually up 16-10 at halftime.
Yeah.
The third quarter, neither team scored. Then in the fourth quarter, the Ravens pulled away from us, scoring 13 points to get the win. If the Browns couldn't score in the second half.
Game script, though, still very similar. Wouldn't you say, Brent? I mean, defense gets us out to a lead, holds it down for only so long.
Minimal scoring, but
gives up that
field
one
goals
big play in the end or that big drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? That went to script. That's why you got to get a lead. And you got to get a big lead, not one touch. Because I'll be honest. Yeah. Hey, guys, the Ravens, that was the perfect game to knock them out. Too. You got to knock them out. One touchdown's not going to do it. Continue, Steve.
Yep. As we just said, it was a game of field goals from the beginning, guys. Mm-hmm. The Ravens made it 3-0. Then the Browns tied it 3-3.
Right.
Then Andre Schmidt made another field goal, 6-3.
Right.
Then the defense made it happen. Yeah. Devin Bush intercepted a Lamar Jackson pass and took it to the house for a touchdown. That play was awesome, by the way. Oh, God, did I love that. We were enjoying that. We watched the game together.
Yeah.
That was exciting, guys.
Devin Bush playing some really solid football this year for the most part, actually.
He really is.
Kind of rejuvenated his career.
And Lamar Jackson, he's actually had a rough outing in this one. Mm-hmm. Fans were getting their money's worth. Those that spent $6 for a ticket.
Hey, Brett, did you get that $6 ticket, or did you have to go buy some milk?
I thought it was your birthday a little bit ago.
Yes.
Did you get that envelope with the three $6 tickets?
Must have got lost in the
mail. And I'll tell you what, buddy.
Must have got lost in the mail.
Again, I just want to say, what I did for you by giving you those tickets, you owe me, because I came up big.
I got you, buddy.
Okay. All right, continue.
No, here's
sorry.
Brent, here's
what
if you're smart, here's what you need to do. You would have bought the $6 ticket for Dave.
Yes.
And then when Shedeur starts playing awesome and the tickets are $200,
that's right.
You say, hey, buddy, you got me? You got me on
right.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Oh, man. That's
how
true.
You do it. That's how you
oh,
man.
Hey, guys, I got you. I got you your drink at that wedding. You do owe me now from Anyways, all right, continue.
All right, guys. Well, Dylan Gabriel actually kept us in the game. Mm-hmm. He was 7-10 for 68 yards before he had to leave the game in the third quarter with a concussion.
Typical Dylan.
Yep. Quinshon Judkins had some nice runs in this one. And he is mostly the Browns' offense, as we know. He had 17 carries, 59 yards. With Gabriel coming out with the concussion, we finally got to see number 12.
Here we go.
Sanders, baby.
Let's go.
Who came in with 5 minutes and 6 seconds left in the third quarter. At first I thought, because we all watched this game together, boys, and it was loud and it was hard to hear. So at first I thought that they pulled Gabriel, but I was wrong.
No.
He had to leave. The restaurant was just really loud. I didn't know if he was just coming in because I was like, there he is. Remember? Oh, man, that was exciting.
If you go, I was going to mention this in my notes here, but if you go back and look at it, there was a play towards the end of the second quarter where I think he kept the ball and he got slammed to the turf pretty hard there.
Okay.
And you could see he took a pretty good hit, Gabriel, actually.
And Tommy Reese called the plays and ended up getting they were throwing down the field a little bit more.
A little bit.
Cedric Tillman, that's my boy. He led the way, 3 catches, 52 yards. They can actually count on him for long passes, guys. So seriously, look for Shador in the future to go long to Cedric. Because Tillman can catch those long balls, as we've seen him do with Jameis Winston last year. And, the guy can do it when he's called.
Still waiting on Cedric here a little bit. Still, come on. Right.
Jerry Jeudy, he had 3 catches, 21 yards. And Harold Fannin snagged 2 balls for 26. But the 1 catch, guys, for 25 yards on the first
That was a nice play.
Of the Browns' final drive in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That moved him across midfield, guys.
Yes.
That was awesome. That was Shador's highlight of the night.
Yes.
That play was
no pressure, though.
Play.
Just keep that in mind. It was a little bit of a prevent. Just keep that in mind.
Okay. Well, they turned up the heat though towards the end. I'm sure.
Well,
Steve's
once you got across.
Yeah, exactly.
And remember, you've been watching football a while.
Yeah.
What do they always do? Most teams give up the whole field until you get to about the 30.
Right.
30 to 30 is fair game.
Right. Well, that's a lot of teams play that 20 to 20 defense. Man,
Yeah.
but
there you go. That's what I meant.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
Yep. This was the longest pass completion of Sanders' NFL game debut. Shador Sanders overall. Not so good of a performance.
Not so good. that might be an understatement, Steve.
But, considering he had no reps with the ones and wasn't expected to play, it wasn't too bad. It could have been worse, I'll even go with. He was 4 of 16, only completed 25% of his passes, 47 yards, and he did have an interception. It did look like Gabriel could move the ball down the field better than Shador. But Shador showed signs he can sling it downfield.
No doubt.
And in the end zone. He can make that long throw that we're looking for.
Yeah, you can clearly see the physical differences between the two guys, Brett.
Yeah.
That is fairly undeniable.
You agree that Gabriel has to do more of an out or something like that?
Yeah, he doesn't.
More taking dunks.
Sanders could throw in a tight window in the end zone. Between defenders and up high,
Bottom
he can
line,
get it there. For Gabriel, I don't think can do that.
Exactly. He's more capable of making the high-level throws. We talked about this a little bit in the preseason. Go ahead, Brent.
I don't think either one of these guys has football acumen, though. They seem like they just can't make the right reads. And I know it's early in Shador. I just see it. Everything's tough for these guys. I don't know. But go ahead.
One of my favorite NFL podcasts echoed something that I had said very early on. I think I said this back in the preseason. I think if you can combine both of their traits, Gabriel's traits with Shador's traits, you'd actually have a very good NFL quarterback. I think you would. I think if you had Gabriel's, get rid of the ball quickly, not hold the ball too long, and then with Shador's size and arm talent that Steve is just referencing here, I think you get the more ideal quarterback if you combine all their traits together.
Well, hopefully,
positive traits.
Hopefully Tommy Reese can teach this.
Well, we'll see.
Something that I, and Colin Cowherd today pointed out, and I have to mention this, and there is some awareness situation here with Shador Sanders where, for example, when you go onto the football field, the last thing you want to do is pump up the crowd. Mm-hmm. You just don't, because you're about to go in and you want to go into a huddle. You want things settled. And Joe Bitonio even said, he goes, I had to call a timeout to get the crowd settled after he did that. Now, I wasn't aware of that, but I will say this. Mm-hmm. Why do I get this feeling it's like a Johnny Manziel thing? Mm-hmm. It looks like a gimmick. I want Shador to play like a pro and act the part. I don't know. It's just too much. It's
R&D year, bro.
It is.
Games to find
I
out.
want Shador to be more composed in this Raiders game, and I'll tell you what, we're going to see a lot in that Raiders game. Sure. But anyways, continue, Steve.
Yeah, so guys, just wait till he gets a full week of practice, which he's had with the ones. And you sent me a video, and he was looking good. And
he did look good.
They're not going against each other, but he's throwing to all the guys. He's throwing to Tillman. He's throwing to Judy.
Yeah.
He's throwing to Fannin Jr. He's throwing to Njoku.
Got to see him under live bullets, though, Steve. You know, how's he going to look like when he faces a Raiders?
But you know, one thing about Shador, I'll say, he does look. You know what's funny about this? Dylan Gabriel, he did look the part in preseason. Mm-hmm. He don't look the part anymore. He don't look the part. Do you agree? He looks sluggish out there. Shador Sanders looks more. Now, I don't like everything about Shador. Going backwards. Some of his pocket awareness. Don't like that.
Big time. Yeah,
don't hold on to the ball. Yes. But I'll tell you what, though. I do like his arm. Go ahead.
But you know what, though? To be fair to Dylan, he was playing against some defenses in the preseason.
I know.
We say preseason that might have some defenses that weren't featuring their number one starters. So to be fair, that's
true.
Got to be taken into consideration.
Dylan looked more in rhythm in that preseason. He does not look. I mean, he was right, Steve. He was missing throws to this wall right here.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. Am I right? He was. Dude, like, what are you gonna do? Shador Sanders. You know what I hope with Shador? I hope there's a healthy, healthy dose of Judkins to mix it up. Because when Shador was in this pastime, I didn't like what they did to him.
Well,
way too much passing.
To be fair, they should have given Shador some kind of reps. I'm saying way during preseason.
Yeah.
He just should have got a few more and just have a shot also. I truly believe
Did you
that.
notice Judkins not getting...
He's the third string quarterback, or the fourth.
He should have got more carries.
That's what I'm saying. When Shador was in, there was no Judkins. What was that?
Yeah. Well, that's got to be on Reese, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Reese wanted Shador to pass a lot. I didn't like that.
Well,
I didn't like that.
I think he did.
Continue.
Well, Stefanski said that Dylan is still out with the concussion, so of course Shador's getting the start against the Raiders. Shador admitted himself that he didn't play. He played bad in this game, but he was thankful for the opportunity to finally get in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew his opportunity was going to come, and here it was. I personally think that he will be just fine with practice, and it will be nice to get a break from Gabriel. I have a feeling that even if Shador plays well, though, Stefanski will go back to Dylan. I think even if he gets a win, when Dylan's cleared...
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Do you think they'll keep him in?
Yeah, I mean, if your quarterback wins you a football game, he's going to keep his job. Gabriel played horrible against the Dolphins. You know, rightfully so. He kept his job for another week. So, yeah, I think if he plays well, I think he'll keep the job for another week.
Do you think that Stefanski... I mean, I don't know what the... I mean, does he really like Shador or he doesn't like him? I heard rumors.
I think I would say
Flacco
this.
was never gone, they had no plan on even playing him at all. I don't think any kind of snap.
I think if you put Stefanski under truth serum, I would say Shador Sanders is not his type of quarterback.
They would want to be like a red shirt year for him.
You can just tell,
the
though.
And before everything that happened.
I still think I'm right about this, guys, about that Manziel thing. He doesn't look the part. Like, his arm is the part.
Yeah.
But it looks like when he did that thing, and it just, some of the things you heard.
You don't like the antics.
The antics and the pantomime. And it don't. What I heard is he had a headset on.
Yeah.
Help me out. What's it called? The thing where you listen to music and
beats.
The beats. He had that on with the Giants. My fear is that Shador, he's got the Nepo baby thing going. That means like mommy and daddy hooked you up, and like he's got like Bronny James vibes. Yeah. I just want him to be a professional in his decorum and intact and just act the part. I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I'm worried about a lot of things.
I'm being honest with you.
I'll get into it.
By the way, guys, Shador's house got broken into while he was playing football. And in an interview, none of the bling got taken. None of the bling got taken.
None of the bling got taken.
None of the jewelry's gone.
There we go.
It's all in a safe place.
But you know what, Steve? Don't forget, he's legendary. That's why.
He is legendary.
Don't feed the beast here.
I know. I did. Steve, I knew you'd like that. All right, continue,
All right,
Steve.
guys. The defense played good once again.
Yes.
Myles Garrett had 4 sacks.
Unbelievable.
This guy is just a freak of nature, man.
Unbelievable.
He may go down as the best ever at his position. And I grew up to see Reggie White, Bruce Smith, and Michael Strahan.
Yep.
Garrett is the first player in NFL history to have at least 12 sacks in 6 consecutive seasons.
It's ridiculous.
He has 10 sacks in the last 3 games, and he leads the entire NFL with 15, on pace to break the record of 22.5
Yep.
by Strahan and a guy, T.J. Watt.
Yes.
I especially wanted to see him break the record to outshow T.J. Watt. I can't stand T.J. Watt. And Steelers fans in general, to end this debate on who the better player is,
Sure.
they always go on who's better. Well, if he breaks that record, I think Garrett gets that.
Garrett's better, but I think Garrett's more streaky than Watt. I think Watt's probably more of the meat and potato guy. He's going to get it done a little bit better throughout a series of games. But Garrett, he's the rock star. When he's on, he'll dominate you.
He's the most physically gifted pass rusher because of his bend, because of his get off on the ball, his overall strength. You put it all together. I don't know if any pass rusher has put it all together the way he has. I mean, with Reggie, it was just pure brute force. This guy has the brute force, I think, to go with the quickness and the get off and the bend. I mean, it's just he's amazing to watch. It's sad
I agree
that the Browns are.
And you can line him up at different places. He's not always lined up on that one side.
I agree with Mary Kay. We haven't seen the best of Garrett. Well, actually, we're seeing the best of Garrett now. But we didn't see the best of Garrett a few years ago because he did. The Browns weren't very good, and he wasn't playing.
That's the one thing we have talked about. They finally drafted some defensive players, surrounded him with a few other good players.
I think they promised him.
Yeah, Garrett's doing good now.
If we give you some help, you keep
that's true. Because Garrett does seem that is interesting.
His breakout year, his best season.
Yeah, it was great.
I remember, even last year in that Texans game. No, it wasn't last year. Last year Garrett did good. It was 2 years ago. Remember against the Texans? Not so good on that game.
No, in the playoff game.
The playoff game. Yeah. Anyways, continue, Steve.
Well, guys, linebacker Carson Schlesinger had another great game and finished with 11 tackles and an interception. I'm so glad the Browns finally got a linebacker early in the draft because they neglected this position for years, guys.
Right.
And I believe he got Rookie of the Week, too, Carson Schlesinger.
Can I say one thing? And I don't know what receiver was drafted where Carson Schlesinger was, but would you trade Carson Schlesinger if the Browns would have been able to find a dynamic wide receiver?
No, that's how bad I wanted a linebacker.
Well, but how bad is
this one?
Yeah, but this is the worst wide receiver core in the NFL, though.
I don't know. I like Schlesinger, guys.
Okay.
I like defense.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't,
that was my only argument about Schlesinger.
Okay.
I thought he was a very good player, but I thought this team needed offense that much more.
Right.
Just do me a favor, Browns.
Yeah.
Stop drafting guys from the show Smurfs or the cartoon Smurfs.
Yes.
Get guys that are 6'4" and above. What are we doing?
You're talking about the wide receiver.
The wide receiver position, and they said the guy that was they missed the pass from Shador.
Yes.
5'9".
Not working out good. No.
Continue, Steve.
Well, guys, the interior linemen were once again solid. Mason Graham and Malik Collins, who was injured, they both had 2 tackles and one for a loss each. Michael Hall Jr. tipped the ball that was led by Jackson to Schlesinger's interception, and Hall had a sack as well. Defensively, the Ravens, Roquan Smith didn't have a big game like I thought he would. Safety Kyle Hamilton led the team with 9 tackles and a sack and a forced fumble. Nate Wiggins got in on the interception that Shador had for the Ravens. The Browns certainly surprised me by staying in the game, and I was surprised the Ravens played as bad as they did, being a hot team recently. The Ravens team isn't like one that we have seen in the past, just like the Chiefs. Same thing. They're not their usual selves. Anyway, I'm excited to see Shador starting against the Raiders next, and that Tommy Reese will still do the play calling. I think the Browns defense will try and play harder for Shador.
Yes.
If we had a quarterback, we would surprise a team like the Colts and the Patriots that are playing awesome. And let's go Browns.
There you go.
All right. Well said, Steve. We're going to get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, I know you've been wanting to talk about this quarterback situation and Shador. And
yep.
So, buddy, how did it go for you there? I think we were on tap for that.
Well, unfortunately, the Ravens have won 4 in a row, but it took one. Actually, it was kind of an ugly game. We described the game script earlier. The defense keeps the team in the game, gets them out to a lead, but eventually the defense gets worn down, gives up that one big play, and we see what happens. The Ravens ended up beating the Browns 23-16. The Cleveland Browns had another dismal performance on offense on Sunday. It managed to score 9 points with no touchdowns. Obviously, the touchdown was a defensive score against the Baltimore Ravens, who have actually one of the worst defenses in the NFL, although they've been playing a lot better here on their winning streak. The Ravens' victory spoiled the Shedeur Sanders NFL debut. Going to get into that in just a minute. This was a game where the Browns got out to the 13-3 lead. The teams exchanged field goals in the first quarter. The Browns recovered a muff punt by Grant Delpit with 10:26 left in the second quarter. This would lead to the Browns getting their first field goal on the Ravens' 6-yard line. The Browns can't handle prosperity. Judkins could not score across the goal line after 2 carries, and Gabriel would throw incomplete pass on third down. This would lead to the field goal. The Browns took a 6-3 lead. The Browns would take a 13-3 lead with 7:43 left in the second quarter after linebacker Devin Bush picked off Lamar Jackson, 23 yards for the score. The Ravens would get back into it with a six-play, 63-yard TD drive that would culminate with a Derrick Henry 1-yard TD run that would cut it to a 13-10 lead with 4:17 left in the half. The Browns' offense remained stagnant. After 2 runs by Judkins and on 3rd and 5, Gabriel didn't even attempt to get a pass off as he tried to run for a first down, but was only held to a 1-yard gain. That led to the 2-minute warning. After the break on the punt, the Ravens did jump off sides, and the Browns caught a break. Giving the Browns a fresh set of downs, Gabriel found Tillman on the sideline with a nice throw. Up the seam there for 26 yards, the longest completion of his career, if you can believe that. That's the longest completion of Gabriel so far.
Wow.
I can't believe that. This will lead to Smith's 46-yard field goal as he drilled it right down the middle to extend the lead to 16-10 at the half. On this drive, the Browns called a keeper for Gabriel, and it didn't work, him only gaining 1 yard on a 3rd and 5. This is where it appeared that Gabriel had the concussion. He was slammed to the ground. Nobody realized it.
I didn't really notice it.
I didn't catch on to it.
It was kind of a nasty hit. I went back.
Yeah, when you look at it, it did look like a concussion.
Yeah, it was because his head slammed.
I don't remember the replay doing that when we're at the bar, like showing that. Like, I don't remember them going back to that a little bit. I don't know.
No, I guess we might have been distracted at the time.
Sure, that could have happened.
And I don't know if they showed him going into the tent or anything like that either.
I don't remember seeing that.
I didn't see that, but we were all chatting too. So.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the Browns would take the 16-10 lead into the half. The Browns took over the ball in the third quarter with 12:43 left. Enter the 5th-round pick, the much-anticipated 5th-round pick, a.k.a. Steve Retzer's savior, Shedeur Sanders.
Does he? Did I see him doing the moonwalk?
Wow,
Michael Jackson.
I think he had a cape. I think Steve had a cape on him coming in. Actually,
he can't do any wrong,
Yeah, he might as well wear a cape. Yeah,
there you
He
go.
doesn't mean to go backwards 5 times. By the way.
By the way, there's a lot of Shedeurites out there. I will say this: that you can't say a bad word about Shedeur. By the way,
they're like, listen.
Yeah.
I don't care that he didn't get first team reps.
Yeah.
And by the way, he played against the 6 stringers in that preseason game. That's not fair.
But by the way, there's a lot of backup quarterbacks that don't get first team reps.
I know.
There are people that have already put that out there. This is not necessarily a thing that's unknown in the history of NFL.
I'll give credit to Shedeur Sanders. Guess what he said?
What's
he
that?
goes, I didn't play very good. See,
He
that's
did. I
that's
like
a
him-
good answer.
I like him taking ownership of his poor performance. That's the right thing to do.
But continue, Dave.
Yeah. Dylan, again, would finish 7-10 for 68 yards. No touchdowns or picks. The first Sanders drive would end with a sack on the 3rd and 8 at the Cleveland 27-yard line. The opening start for Shedeur would continue to be difficult. He would throw for his first interception in Nate Wiggins at the Cleveland 17-yard line. The Ravens and Lamar would return the favor. He would throw his second interception of the game to Carson Schlesinger with 4:28 left in the third. Boy, this was not one of Lamar's best days. I'll get to that in a second. The Browns' offense continued to struggle. The Ravens kicked a 24-yard field goal with 14:06 left in the fourth to cut the lead to 16-13. The Ravens would tie things up at 16. This would come off a 10-play, 54-yard drive that would culminate in a 44-yard Tyler Luke field goal with 4:59 to tie things up. The Ravens would then take the lead for good. With 2:31 left in the game, I thought that was an interesting play they ran with tight end Mark Andrews ran 35 yards for the go-ahead touchdown on 4th and inches at the 35. Baltimore looked like they were going to run the tush-push
Yeah.
with Andrews lined up under center. The Ravens, though, had other ideas for how to pick up the first down. Instead of going up the middle, Andrews ran left. Fullback Patrick Ricard, who was a key acquisition who came back in this game, got a kick-out block on Brown's safety Grant Delpit, and Andrews was untouched as he scampered to the end zone for his first career rushing touchdown. The Browns and Shador would have one last shot. You know what, though? I have to say, when he had the ball, I had a little bit of belief. I don't know if you guys did, but I had more confidence that Shador Sanders was going to make that drive than Dylan Gabriel did.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Maybe from that
above
standpoint.
Yes.
But I'll be honest, I did not. I just didn't see it going well.
Okay.
And you know why? Because he was 4 of 16. He only did good when there was no pressure on him. He never did the John Elway thing.
Way to set the bar way too high, Brent.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
he did the, you know.
It doesn't have to be John Elway.
You know what I mean? He never did it. The stakes weren't high when he did his thing. I'm being honest.
Okay. Brent wants to compare him to one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Other than that. I know.
It was all right.
Oh,
I love you, Brent.
Go write your resume. Oh my God! All right, that's good.
All
That's
right,
good.
So Sanders tried to lead the tying drive. He completed a 25-yard pass to Harold Fannin on the first play and got the Browns to the Ravens' 25 before they stalled. It appeared with 1:08 left in a 3rd and 5 incompletion to Gage Larvadan. I always pronounce that. I'm not going to say Joe Fonte Boom, Steve, but I'm not going there. By the way, a better receiver comes up with that pass.
No doubt.
I firmly believe
it's
that.
a go ball.
Shador may have gotten robbed on that. A better receiver.
It's a go ball.
Exactly. That's one of those 50-50s
That
where
would have tied the game.
that
right?
would have tied it up. Exactly.
And actually could have won because they could have went for 2.
I think they go for the tie. I still think you think they go.
I don't know.
If they were kicking field goals, they probably go for the tie.
I don't know
could've been
what
caught.
you know. What I don't know. You know the question about or the answer to that. I don't. What time was left? I don't remember.
Well, it was about 1:08 left. So there was
You're right.
It's still time.
They're probably the 1:08 left. They're giving the ball back to Lamar, and you never know what he'll do.
That's true. Lamar still might have gotten.
And they'll get him a field goal. Yeah. Anyways, continue. You're right. Continue.
Sanders' final pass intended for David Njoku on 4th and 5 was short. The Browns dropped to 2 and 8, their 3rd straight loss. This would end for the Ravens at 23-16. Some final numbers in the game. Not a great Lamar game, as I mentioned. He went 4 of 25 for 193 yards and was intercepted twice. Another solid effort by Derrick Henry, though. Finally broke through against the Browns a little bit. 103 yards on 18 carries, including a 1-yard touchdown. Go ahead, Steve.
Do you guys know that the Derrick Henry's 100-yard-plus game
Yes.
was the first game the defense gave up a 100-yard rusher this year?
Wow.
And it's week 11, boys.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
That's how good this defense is, by the way. Just had to bring that up.
It's been great. It's been great. And it hasn't been as good as it was against the run maybe earlier in the year, but they're still pretty solid. By the way, I have to talk about Myles Garrett. He sacked Jackson 4 times, becoming the first player since Arizona's Chandler Jones in 2019 with 2 games of at least 4 sacks in a season. Myles set a Browns single-game record with 5 sacks in the 32-13 loss at New England on the 26th of October. He leads the league with 15 sacks and is the first player in NFL history with 5 straight seasons, as Steve mentioned, of at least 13 sacks. By the way, on pace to tie the Strahan-Watt record. By the way, I still remember Strahan breaking that record, and Mark Gastineau.
Didn't Gastineau get upset about that?
Well, no, he
got mad at
At a card
Brett
show.
Favre,
they confronted him at a card show.
And then Gastineau, didn't he die a year later?
No, I think Mark's still around.
Still alive?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's still with us.
Okay. Well, anyways, he gave him some heat.
Yeah, he got into Brett's face about that. But what can you say about Myles? He's a future Hall of Famer, first ballot, and I agree. He's going to be right there with Reggie White. Reggie White is the greatest edge rusher I've ever seen, but I think Myles can be right there. Bruce Smith is probably right underneath that, but it's tough to say. Myles is going to be in that category.
He'll be right there.
On to Shador. We got to get into it. He went 4 for 16 for 47 yards with an interception. He was thrown into a tough spot. We said it when we were watching the game, guys. And that's to say the least. He not benefit himself from not getting any of those first-team reps, but, as I explained before, not all backup quarterbacks get first-team reps. Majority of the first-team reps do always go to the starter. He did not, as I said, I did see some of the issues that came about and what we talked about in the preseason and that I saw in college when he played at Colorado. Again, the pocket presence. The run backwards that we talked about when we watched the Rams game. Holding on to the ball too long. Not throwing the ball away when he should. Those are the things that it was his skill set that I have doubts about. I mean, we can talk about the off the field, Brent, the antics. You got into that, but again, he doesn't get rid of the ball quickly. He has that. He doesn't have the pocket presence. The better quarterbacks in this league have a good pocket presence. They can navigate the pocket. They can evade the rush, sidestep the rush, make a throw down.
That's my problem with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not the arm. It's the pocket presence, and he is not better than Dylan Gabriel with that. He is not.
Okay.
But
right,
you hope he can improve. But we're going to see some of it this Sunday.
Yeah, he has the overall arm talent.
Yeah,
he can make the higher level throws, as we mentioned earlier. Again, I think the first team reps this week should help. I'm going to open up for some thoughts. Do you think the first team reps, and do you have some expectations for this week? And I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I just think he's going to go backwards some more. I do. I think
Really?
he's going to go backwards. That is not an easy thing to break.
Okay.
I feel like that backwards thing, and you know why he does that too? Because he thinks he can escape. And that probably did work at Colorado.
It
that
did.
Going
That's
backwards
the
a little
thing
bit.
He probably broke out of a lot of sacks. What will work in the Big 12 in Colorado will not always work in the NFL. I said that exactly.
It just
to somebody this week.
Don't you agree with me that football? Know that's muscle memory. That is not, unless you do that a lot where you got to step up in the pocket.
Right.
Unless he does that over that's why I said I think it's going to take him some time to break that habit.
Guys, I expect him to play better because he will have the reps, have all the practice, and I think he's going to play better.
Hopefully develop the chemistry with the receivers, maybe.
Yeah, so I think he's going to do better. He still is going to make rookie mistakes.
Yes.
And understand this. The Raiders are a bad football team, but they got Crosby and other defenders that can get to him.
Good point.
But he's still gonna play better, guys. There's no doubt about it.
Everything rides on the play calling of Mr. Tommy Rees.
I agree with that.
Everything.
A great point. I think what he needs to do, Brent, is there's ways you can scheme up easy throws. You can scheme up a wide receiver screen, or you can scheme up a shallow cross, or some of this underneath stuff to kind of get him some confidence. Give him some easy completions to get his confidence going. It'll be interesting to see if the first few throws they try to scheme up some of those plays to get his confidence going, get him some completions.
Did you see Steve Retzer at the bar give that little symbol?
Oh,
yes,
he did it. I saw him do it.
And don't forget, include Quinshad Judkins. Remember?
Got to do that.
Let Judkins help the rookie Shedeur out.
Yeah, best friend of a young running game.
They were not doing that, though, were they?
Yeah, that was on Reese, the play calling for the running game.
Okay, continue, Dave.
Yeah, just in conclusion, this was yet another game with the Browns defense and whatever they could do to get the win. They an all-time game for Miles. They forced turnovers. In the end, they gave up that one play they couldn't afford to. The inept offense continues to show itself. It does the defense no favors. Only 187 yards in total offense. It's just pathetic. The last hope of this season appears to be in the hands of a quarterback taken in the 5th round. It does not appear that Dylan will clear concussion protocol. As we mentioned, he's going to get the start against the Raiders. Shedeur. That means Sanders will get his first start. Let's hope a week's worth of first-team reps, as Steve mentioned, will hopefully allow his timing to get better with the wide receivers. It's time, Browns fans. We found a new quarterback. Dylan is just not the answer. I'm not totally confident Shedeur is the man either. I've got to be real. The season is all but over. All that's left is to see whether a quarterback taken in that 5th round can be the Browns' future starter. I'm, for one, interested. It's Shedeur time, baby.
Yep. Well said, Dave. We're going to get to our next segment there, and that is the game of the week. And wait a second. Is this week 1? And Steve Retzer won a game?
Wow.
Should we go back to...
What's happening to Steve Retzer? I think somebody's on the incline here, and I think somebody's been on the decline here.
I just can't believe it. I'm looking at... I think it says, September something here. I mean, September 20th. Wait, hold on. Let me adjust my time on my laptop. Hold on. Now we're November. Okay. I just make sure. I'm not kidding you. They're gonna get on a time capsule, and maybe Doc and Marty McFly or I don't know. Anyways, all right. That's enough. Yes. Steve, let's get into it here. How did your game of the week go? Get us the insight of that big victory you had.
All right, boys. I had the Bengals at the Steelers. I got a game right on this one. Steelers beat the Bengals 34-12. I had a feeling the Steelers would be ready for this one after losing to them on Thursday Night Football.
Right.
Especially playing this one at home.
Yes.
They were at home. The final score looks like a blowout. The game was tight, though.
It was.
It was a defensive slugfest for the better part of 3 quarters. The score was only 13-9 late in the third quarter. So, it was still a close game that got away from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But the real story and the reason my pick cashed in was that the Pittsburgh's defense just took over, guys.
Yeah, there was much. Talk about a complete about face from the last time these two teams played, right, Steve?
Oh, a big difference. With the Bengals driving down by 4 and threatening to take the lead late in the third, safety Kyle Duggar delivered the knockout blow. 73-yard pickoff of Joe Flacco. That play instantly swung the momentum, pushed the lead to 20-9, and put the game out of reach mentally for Cincinnati, guys. They followed up with another defensive score, a fumbled return for a touchdown in the fourth quarter, solidifying the victory. When a defense scores twice, guys, there's almost always a recipe for a win. It proves that despite some offensive struggles, and we'll get into that quarterback situation, the Steelers are still an old school, tough to beat team built on forcing takeaways. I mean, I know it didn't look like it as much, right, in this season, but they've always been known for that, and they did just that in this game.
Any news on the Aaron Rodgers situation? I know that he left that game. Mason Rudolph came in.
Yeah.
I was hearing things that there was a chance that he might play this week. I have not heard an update as of late, how long term that is for them.
I haven't heard the latest update on Rodgers. But one thing for sure, Mason Rudolph is not a terrible backup. And then when he went to Tennessee, he played fairly well. For back to Pittsburgh.
Right, but your long-term answer. I mean, obviously you invested in Rodgers here to be your starter. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm not crazy about this offense, even with Aaron Rodgers in it. I just don't think they ever have any playmakers in this offense outside of DK Metcalf. Even, that's about it. They can't really run the football. I'm not crazy about the offensive line. And Cincinnati, by the way, did you see the spitting incident by Jamar Chase in this game?
Yes.
Did he get the suspension? I believe he got a suspension for that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 1 game suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chase spit on Jalen Ramsey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ramsey was pissed and just pushed him, and I get it, because that's one thing you shouldn't do is spit on your opponent.
Jalen Carter got caught with that earlier in the year.
That's right, for the Eagles.
Cowboys game.
Eagles-Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make a case you should have got longer than a game. Let's be real about
and
that.
And Dak did it back, but he
thing.
missed his spit.
Yeah.
Well, the Steelers' defense, they were opportunistic and suffocating. They limited Jamar Chase, who torched them last month, to just 3 catches for 30 yards in a masterful coaching job and execution by the secondary. Duggar's pick 6, of course, is the headline, though, of the defense on that. The Steelers lost quarterback Aaron Rodgers to a wrist injury in the second quarter. Stepping in, like we said, Mason Rudolph. He played incredibly efficient, completing 12
I like Rudolph
passes.
there. Good spot for Rudolph.
Yeah. And he led a pair of long, critical scoring drives to manage the game and secure the victory. You have to like that kind of veteran backup reliability, guys.
Oh, Rudolph's a good backup. He is.
Myles Garrett you saw the end of Myles Garrett helmet one time, though.
That was a little birdie told me about that one.
Yeah.
Was it about 5 years ago? Or during COVID time, somebody got the crown of a helmet on their head there. Anyways, continue.
The run game was solid for Pittsburgh finally. Jalen Warren played a good game. He controlled the clock. For the Bengals, it was a tough day. I mean, the veteran Joe Flacco just couldn't replicate his magic from the previous month's high-scoring win against Pittsburgh. He struggled with pressure and ultimately delivered the 2 huge turnovers that cost them the game.
By the way, his only win since he got to the Bengals is the game against the Steelers, correct?
Yeah, that Thursday
only
night
one
game.
win.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Do you
hard to
believe that?
They thought he was going to save the season. And
He just, you know what? He's hit and miss. He just
Yeah.
is. But you know what? He did have a couple good games, and the defense gave it up.
Yeah,
So
the
it's not all on
defense didn't
Joe.
let them down against
Yeah,
the Jets
yeah.
and the Bears, to be fair.
Yeah. But this one, I think Joe didn't have as good stuff, did he, Steve?
No, that's true. The Dolphins stalled in the red zone and failed to keep their drives alive when it mattered most. My pick was the Steelers, and they came through because they remembered their identity. defense and controlling the trenches. They found a way to win even after losing their starting quarterback. This keeps them firmly atop the AFC North race. And frankly, they earned it, guys. I mean, Steelers, they're still in first place.
Yeah,
it
could still be a battle. By the way, I found out it's not. He's not going to require surgery on that wrist, Rodgers. It may just be a fracture. So, it'll be interesting. I don't know if he's going to play against the Bears this week. So that'll be interesting to watch. Go ahead,
Steve. Did somebody told me that you had a terrible towel in your hand after the win? Because your game of the week, and you're
don't sell that to
secretly.
Steve.
You will never see. No, I like to burn those, by the way. I burned them, or I cleaned up with them and thrown them in the trash.
Okay.
You know?
Didn't you use it to go? Okay, never mind. I thought you used it to do something else. All right, that's enough.
Let's leave that one.
I know. All right. Here we go. We're going to get to Mr. Dave Greenshield.
Yes,
Dave,
sir.
I don't want to keep talking about these W's, buddy, but 5 in a row?
Yeah.
Isn't that a song? I got 5 on it, or is that something? I don't know.
I'm on a 5-game winning streak here. Can I get a 5 on that, Brett? There we go. Can I get a 5 on that, Steve? There we go.
Like I said, the tide has turned. It was all Retzer, and now it's a Greenshield. He's signing autographs for little kids.
Hey, if you guys get any betting advice or games to pick, just,
Oh, Dave, I love it. What do you got, buddy? How'd your game of the week go?
Here we go. Easily one of the most entertaining games of the week. Josh Allen led the Buffalo Bills to a season high in points in a 44-32 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Allen became the first NFL player with 2 games of 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Allen outdueled fellow 2018 first-round draft pick Baker Mayfield in a back-and-forth game that featured 9 lead changes. This one was crazy. The reigning MVP did it this time with a retooled receiving group that featured Gabe Davis and McCole Hardman making their season debuts. The Bills took a 21-17 lead, leaving nearly in the first half. That was towards the end of the first half, leaving nearly 30 seconds left. In the first half, Tampa Bay took advantage of that. On 3rd and 5 at the Buffalo 48-yard line, Allen did connect with running back Ty Johnson on a pass towards the left sideline. Johnson ran 52 yards along the left edge, speeding up and escaping a tackle with sights set on the end zone. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers drove down the field. That led to the 21-17 lead. Baker Mayfield led his Buccaneers drove down the field. They opted for a field goal with less than 10 seconds remaining. The first attempt from kicker Chase McLaughlin was blocked, which would have given Buffalo a 4-point lead at the halftime. Tackle Alec Anderson was called for a defensive holding, giving McLaughlin another try from 5 yards closer. Buffalo went into the locker room with a 1-point lead as he made the kick. The Buccaneers would recover a fumbled punt at the Buffalo 43-yard line. The Bucs would put it into the end zone 7 plays later. A 6-yard Sean Tucker touchdown run would give Tampa a 26-21 lead. Tucker had a really nice day, finished with 106 yards rushing, two touchdowns on the ground, and 1 touchdown receiving. The Bills would cut the lead to 26-24. This came after a 39-yard Prater field goal. The Bills would take the lead back. Baker Mayfield on a pass intended for rookie Emeka Egbuka was picked off by safety Cole Bishop. He returned it to the Tampa Bay 25-yard line. That allowed Josh Allen to connect with James Cook on a 25-yard touchdown pass. This would give the Bills a 31-26 lead. Baker and the Bucs weren't done. A 9-play, 62-yard drive would end up with Baker tossing a 28-yard touchdown pass to Sean Tucker. This would give the Bucs a 32-31 lead with 13:38 left in the fourth. It's your turn, Josh. He would lead an 8-play, 81-yard touchdown drive. Allen would go right around right end for a 5-yard touchdown run. This would give the Bills a 37-32 lead. The Bills defense would finally stand up, getting a 3-and-out. With 4 minutes ticking down in the fourth quarter, Allen handed the ball off to Cook for an 8-yard run, followed by an 11-yard completion to wide receiver Gabe Davis. The quarterback found his right-hand man again, completing a short pass to Cook. The running back took it all the way into the Tampa Bay territory for a total of a 23-yard gain. The late-game drive resulted in a 9-yard touchdown run by Allen. It was his 3rd rushing score on Sunday. Buffalo took a 44-32 lead, and that would end a wild one. The final numbers in this one, Baker Mayfield would finish 16-28 for 173 yards and a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but Josh Allen was incredible. Allen was 19 of 30 for 317 yards, 3 touchdown passes. He did throw for 2 picks, but also the 2 rushing scores. He did a really good job of spreading it around. He utilized the likes of Gabe Davis and Tyrell Shavers and Ty Johnson in the passing game. If you notice, he does not have an alpha number 1 at wide receiver. Ever since Stephon Diggs left, you talk about Gabe Davis's. We thought Keon Coleman.
We thought Coleman was going to.
Collins and some of these guys at wide receiver. He does not have a number 1. Now, James Cook is developing into one of the elite running backs in football. I will say that, Steve.
Yeah, he's good.
His running,
Dalvin Cook's brother, right?
Yes.
His running ability though makes them not have to have the killer receivers because he's a threat in so many different ways. You know, run the ball. You got the running game. You get it. He's a dual threat and he's a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, and plus Cook can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He's like a receiver runner.
Are teams ever going to catch on to the fact that Josh Allen loves to run it in for touchdowns? Can't they stop him?
I know.
He's a big
it's always
boy.
something.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
If I was James Cook, I'd be like, feed me the rock. I want some touchdowns. It seems like Allen's getting all those touchdowns.
You're right.
I would add this about Allen. I think a big part of him winning the MVP last year was the fact that his numbers were better after he lost Stephon Diggs, his number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
So he actually had a better statistical season in 2024 than he had in 2023 without having his main man at wide receiver. It was a little bit like Mahomes, who lost Tyreek Hill after the 2021 season and actually had a better statistical season in 2022. So, it says something when you lose your alpha number 1 and you can still be that productive. By the way, Diggs doing very well for your Bucks there, Steve.
Yes, he is.
He's have a real productive year with Drake May.
By the way, this is a great game. This Bucks and Bills. What a game!
It was a fun one.
Yeah, Tampa. Baker keeps them in all these games. I know some people are saying he's not the MVP guy, and now they're not putting him up with the Rams and these other good teams. But he still is keeping them.
Yeah,
too many injuries.
Too many injuries. Right? This is not a complete offense. I'll say this. I'm going to get into this.
Sure.
He's not had Godwin. He's not had Evans. Evans is a huge loss because Evans was on pace to either tie or break that Jerry Rice record for 1,000-yard consecutive seasons this year. So to lose Evans early was big. Now they may get him back towards the end of the year. Godwin has had injury problems the last couple of years. They're lucky they drafted Emeka Egbuka. They may have found something with Tez Johnson, the rookie receiver out of Oregon. So I think if they get Bucky Irvin back at running back, although Sean Tucker had a really nice game, that's going to help things out too. So as many weapons as Baker can get back before the postseason, this team still might be able to make a run. By the way, the Buccaneers are 6-4. They're still atop the NFC South, but barely. By the way, Carolina Panthers at 6-5 are right on their tail.
Wow.
This was a game the Bills really needed as they moved to 7-3, still in second place behind those red-hot Pats, Steve. It still appears that both teams are well positioned to make the postseason. Just in conclusion, this appeared to be more of a must-win for the Bills considering the division and the overall AFC playoff picture. Again, the Buccaneers are still in really fairly good shape in the South, although the Panthers are on the come. Actually, Bryce Young had probably his best game of the season this past week. If he can get a little bit more consistency in the passing game, they've really improved that defense. They found a little bit of a running game now with Dowdell and Chuba Hubbard at running back. McMillan at receivers becoming number 1. If he can just be a little bit more consistent, they might be able to challenge your Bucks there in that division, Steve.
Yeah, him and T-Mac, they played a great game. I watched some highlights on that. There's no doubt about it, but Carolina's not real consistent. I think that's their problem. I think Tampa still has their number, and Tampa's going to win that division. But yeah, Carolina is creeping up. But I just don't think they'll have enough. They're inconsistent. They've gotten blown out of games.
Yeah.
Tampa stays in the game.
I'm with you. I haven't seen enough growth out of Bryce Young yet, and I picked him as a player to be on the rise this season when we talked about that in the preseason. The Buccaneers defense really were the victims in this one, especially the pass defense. They gave up too many chunk plays and couldn't generate a pass rush. They didn't even get a sack in this one. On the other side, again, a really strong performance by Allen. He overcame the 2 picks. He came up with the big throws, the big runs when his team needed them. The more impressive thing is considering he's not doing it with an alpha, as I mentioned, at the number 1 receiver spot. These no-names. It's just finding a way to get it done. Overall, this is just a fun game. And did I mention, guys, I've won 5 in a row now?
It's It's getting nauseating. I'll be honest, Steve. Were you doing some of this rubbing in stuff like he's doing back? Well, we'd have to go back in the archives. Maybe even go back to last year's show. Oh, we didn't have a show. That's all. I'm sorry. It's so good. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. I feel bad about that. All right.
You do.
I know. I know. Well, I'm not supposed to be. I'm the moderator. You know. I got an out clause here. All right. Here we go. Guys, my game of the week, I had the Rams and the Seahawks, and that one was a great game.
It was.
I'll tell you what, I thought the Seahawks were going to get them. I really did.
Them.
Yeah, they did.
They outplayed them. They really outplayed the Rams.
They did.
If you look at it, they outgained them in the game by like 100 to 150 yards in total offense.
By the way, the Browns and the Beyond staff went out to the tavern here in town.
Yes.
And we got a nice little setup. We got all our TVs, except you didn't get your Broncos game.
Well, if any of our fans want to stop by, I'm sure we'll be available for autographs.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got our lead analyst, Dave Greenshield.
Thank you.
Steve Retzer, one guy of a past here. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry. We gotta keep it moving. All right.
Please,
So
dude. Tell us a little bit about this game, Brian.
So anyways, back to this game here.
Yes.
The Rams, they won this one 27-20. Or sorry, my prediction was 27-20 over the Seahawks. The actual score was the Rams winning this one 21-19. So let's get right into it.
Please.
The Rams clinched a nail-biting divisional win over the Seahawks 21-19, thanks almost entirely to a spectacular defensive effort that forced 4 interceptions from quarterback Sam Darnold, which that was surprising, wasn't it, Dave?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing if you're Seattle. This is kind of the pause that Sam Darnold. Does Sam Darnold in a big game narrative creeps up again? Are they getting the Sam Darnold they saw against the Vikings when it cost them the division and home field last year when they lost to Detroit? Are they getting the Sam Darnold that had the bad playoff game actually against the Rams last year? Because again, this Seattle team is great. You know what Seattle is in a lot of ways? They're Denver. Their defense is great, top 5.
Oh, yeah, they're Denver.
They've got the receivers on offense. JSN's developing into one of the better receivers in the game. A solid but not great running game. It just comes down to the quarterback.
Yeah,
it
depends what he's like on that day.
This was the Darnold that me and Dave thought we were going to see.
Exactly. Good point, Steve.
Yeah, and he's only played a stinker like this a couple times. And actually, it wasn't too much of a stinker, but, he did put him in some bad spots for sure. But they had plenty of opportunities. Anyways, while the offense of the Rams struggled for rhythm, quarterback Matthew Stafford finished the day for 15-28, 130 yards. Not one of his best days, but was efficient through 2 crucial touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's key. Running back Kyren Williams provided crucial big plays on a short field score set up by one of the defensive picks. The game came down to a final seconds after a spectacular punt pinned the Seahawks deep, forcing a missed 61-yard game-winning field goal attempt by Jason Myers. I don't think any of us thought that was going in.
Just think about this, though. If you're McVay, you win the turnover battle 4-1.
Yeah.
And Seattle is that close to being.
I know.
You win the turnover battle 4-1, and they're that close.
And I don't.
Seattle is such a good defense.
It is.
They kept. Yeah.
This Seattle defense was better than Darnold's Minnesota defense.
Well, it is. It's
Darnold's in Minnesota.
I like this. I like
doubt.
the fact that they can scheme up pressure. I like the secondary. They did a good job of limiting Devontae Adams in this game. He only had 1 catch, although he did have a couple of big drops and a bad fumble to start the third quarter. So he was really a non-factor. They adjusted after Williams was running the ball. Yeah, this is just a good football team. Go ahead.
Yeah, that missed field goal attempt by Jason Myers allowed L.A. to escape with a gritty defensive first victory to take the lead in the NFC West.
Yes.
And the Rams, I had the Rams winning this one. I think you did as well,
I
right,
did.
Dave?
I have the Rams. Picked the Rams to go all the way to the championship game this year.
Yeah.
Going to be interesting when Seattle gets them back in Seattle later in the year.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, we're going to get to our final segment, and we will lead with Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, more winning for you on the bold prediction, right, buddy?
Close but no cigar, as they say.
Well, I can't win them all,
You
Dave.
can't win them all. I did pick the Tennessee Titans. My first game prediction is a bold prediction, by the way. I picked the Titans to upset the Houston Texans. Again, close but no cigar. The Texans pulled out a late 16-13.
That was close, Dave.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, close game.
Not as good of a game as far as a quarterback duel when you talk about Davis Mills outdueling Cam Ward. But Mills threw for 274 yards and a touchdown. Matthew Wright kicked the 35-yard field goal as time expired. And the Texans beat the Tennessee Titans 16-13. It did look like the Titans had a chance. Ward made a thrilling finish, driving the Titans 95 yards late in the fourth quarter. He capped the drive with a 4-yard TD pass to Van Jefferson to tie things up with 1:35 left. Mills easily moved the Texans into position with a key 17-yard completion to Nico Collins on a 3rd and 16 that was huge. The drive would end up with the winning field goal by Wright. It would have been nice to have gotten the bold P right, but Brent, I can't get everything right.
Can't get all.
I'm only a man here.
Yeah. You're a human. You really are.
I'm just gonna have to settle for 5 games in a row of getting the game of the week right.
Just take.
Maybe you've heard.
You need to take some time. By the way, you're doing so good. Maybe you should take some time off.
I just enjoy things too much, Brent.
Okay. I get it. All right. You okay, Steve? You Steve, you need a tissue? Hey, by the way, he's gonna. I better stop. Anyways, continue, Dave.
Well, as I was gonna say, you can't win them all. I will settle for 5 in a row. Close, but no cigar. No cigar.
Oh my God!
For you, the Titans got to win sometimes, and this would have been the game.
Well,
they got to get 2 wins or something.
I mean, this is a complete. This is a complete rebuild.
Yeah.
I just thought of something, Dave. Once Retzer starts getting back on a winning, he's gonna crush me for sure.
Yeah,
and he's coming after. He's coming. He's gonna be back to his old self, confident. So we got to get our, we got to get our licks in now.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
do.
So, all right, Steve.
Right, that's right.
Steve, wrap us up into the bold predictions and how'd it go for you, buddy?
All right, guys. I had the Packers at the Giants. My bold prediction was that Jameis Winston would throw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
He didn't quite get there.
Okay.
He was 19 of 29 for 201 yards with no touchdowns, but he did sneak in that interception that we all knew.
Of course.
Just
it's
one.
It's coming.
Just one. But he got this one. He did run the ball on a 1-yard quarterback sneak to tie the game at 19. The Packers won this game 27-20. But Winston kept the Giants in the game.
He did. Yeah, this is a closer game than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
This Packers offense, it's just very inconsistent. It's very hit or miss. They're not getting the productivity at the wide receiver position. We'll have to see if Brandon Jacobs, if there's an injury there, that could be big.
Yeah.
But this offense has just been very, very inconsistent since earlier in the year.
Jordan Love just seems a little off. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Compared to where he was going on track to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, he doesn't look like the same Jordan Love we saw maybe early in the year. This is a team with some injuries on the offensive line that I think have hurt them. This team really, I think, needs to be more balanced offensively. Like I said, they better hope Jacobs isn't out because LaFleur wants a balanced offense, and I think that's the key to them being successful moving forward.
Yep. Well, expect to see a few 300-yard games from Winston, though.
Yeah.
It seems like all he'll have to do is pray to make that happen. I mean, so go Jameis.
Yeah.
He's going to pray.
Yes. Well, hopefully he prays to not throw many interceptions.
Correct.
or how about pray to just be on a football team, period. Anyways, all right. All right, boys, we're going to get into some final thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up. Dave, give me some final thoughts.
Well, interesting going forward. I think we're at a point with the Browns season where, it's just time to see what Shedeur is all about. I mean, this season is pretty much done, and we know this team is not going to be in the postseason. And, again, back to an R&D year. It was basically about seeing what type of productivity or how good these quarterbacks can be. Are they capable of being legitimate starting NFL quarterbacks? Well, we've turned the page now on Dylan Gabriel. Now we're on to Shedeur Sanders. This is the last domino for the season. We have to see what he can do going forward.
Guys, I'm excited to see Shedeur. I've been waiting all year for this. I think the defense will play for him. I think the offense will play for him. Everyone's excited to see him. Fans want to see him. Media wants to see it. Here's the thing, though. I kind of don't want to win too many more games because
I know.
I want
draft picks.
We got 2 first-round draft
Yes.
picks, and I want a good pick, but I want to see us just compete in the games, no blowouts.
Yeah.
Get close,
Yes.
maybe lose, but see him get better a little bit.
Yeah.
And let Shador.
Well, you want to see what you got, so you can make your evaluation on quarterback next year.
Yes.
So we need to
It'd
see
be great to
it.
draft 2 linemen and
And-
2 receivers.
Well,
I'm not worried about a quarterback.
I am concerned-
Shador could be your guy
Yeah.
if he could.
If he can.
I am concerned though about Shador Sanders getting yanked after this game. I don't want that because I need to see what we got with
Yeah, you
him,
gotta see.
and I'm worried they're going to yank him.
See, I've said I'm not excited about this quarterback class that's coming out this next
Yeah.
year's draft. I really am not.
Yeah, nobody.
There's nobody to me that really moves the needle.
Sure.
I am a firm believer under roster construction. You go one of 2 ways. If you can't find Haley's Comet, you build up the rest of the
Offensive
roster.
line and receiver.
Offensive line and receiver. You build
Absolutely.
that up in the draft. Heck, if you want to trade for more picks, you do that because there's too many
Yeah.
holes on this offense at receiver and offensive line. They may need 3 or 4 offensive linemen. Especially considering they drafted Zinter, he's not ready to play. They drafted Luke Whippler, he's not ready to play. The linemen that they have drafted that haven't worked out. It looks like DeJuan Jones may be a bust at tackle. You got a lot of positions on that line. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to fill wide receiver
Jedrick
for
Wills
sure.
could come back. He's
Well,
a free agent.
I would hold your breath, Steve. I would
Right.
not hold your breath. But yeah, that's my overall view. But let's see what Shador can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have my
Yeah.
doubts, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
my fear is Shador is not going to play well, and that means then Dylan's going to come out of protocol, and then we're back, and then that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want to. Even though I'm a Dylan guy,
Yes.
I want to evaluate this correctly.
Yeah, I want to see at least
Don't you agree?
at least
Yeah.
a 5 games, 6 games
Yeah.
sample size.
And then if
Let's
you have
see it.
to get rid of Shador at the end and put Watson in to finish it up, that's okay. But we really shouldn't be sitting Shador down anymore.
Right.
I don't want
You gotta
to.
have a little faith in Shador. I'll have to talk to you some more.
Okay. I'm just saying worst
Let's see a
case.
little more faith out of you.
Hey,
Number
hey,
12.
worst case scenario,
Steve,
guys.
pump the brakes. We'll get together at
And-
7:30 on Sunday. Now.
And by the way, it's not that it is Cleveland, and it is Cleveland quarterback, so I don't really have any faith in anybody, to be
Sure,
honest.
sure.
Because you got to think of the worst. The worst case is if you need to burn some games, you got Bailey Zappi or Watson.
Yeah,
To wrap it up, there you go.
Interested to see if they went back to Watson.
But I just don't want Shador being interrupted. I want him to keep playing.
Yeah.
And like you said, what do you say, 5 or 6 game sample set?
Yeah.
And there
I'd
you
like
go.
to see at least that. Yeah.
And there you go. All right, guys, this was a good one. Have a good one. Take care.